Perfect. Okay. Well, I will get us started. Thank you again for joining us this afternoon. We're going to talk about virtual field trips, planning them, prepping for them, and posting them. We are DML, Digital Media and Literacy. And thanks again for coming. So this is just to show you one of our major initiatives. I recognize one of the names on here, so you probably saw this, but Georgia Home Classroom is a partnership between GPB and Georgia Department of Education. And it's just a plethora and wealth of resources for teachers, by experts, by Godot, standard aligned, free, easily accessible. So check that out, gpb.org/education/learn. Okay, so my name is Ola Ramey. I'm the elementary level digital media and literacy program specialist. I taught both in California, where I'm originally from, as well as Georgia. And I've taught anywhere from pre-K to fifth grade over about 12 or so years. You know how the years start to get lost. Anyhow, we both recently left the classroom and are happy to be here with Georgia Department of Ed to support the work we're all doing.
And I'm Dana Munson. As Olu said, we just left the classroom last year on secondary level and taught for a long time in Fulton County, mostly at the high school level. Love the technology, but also love being a part of the digital media and literacy group.
Okay, so we are just going to get right into it. Virtual field trips. So we're all aware of virtual field trips. They really became a thing with the pandemic. But out of that, we've got some really kind of rich, helpful resources that go beyond pandemic. So we're going to discuss GPB Education's virtual field trips, the Let's Learn Georgia virtual field trips, and some offerings from the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. All right, so why go on a virtual field trip? We can get out now, right? But virtual field trips have several pluses. Save money, no buses, accessible to all students. It saves time. And then you can kind of go at your own pace. So you can go deeper on a topic, you can pause and really kind of go into the student's needs or interest. You're not beholden to a lunch schedule or when the bus is going to leave or when the docent or the guide has their next tour, right? So you can take as long as you'd like or as quick as you'd like. Also align to the standards. So we all know that when we're planning a field trip, you have to justify that with the standard. What standard is this addressing? So it easily adds to your existing lesson plans or can enhance and support instruction. So what you're looking at now are the offerings on GPB Education virtual field trips. They have lots of great videos and tours, and the lesson plans are included. So that's the planning and prepping part that we mentioned at the beginning. If you utilize the virtual field trips that GPB Education has, there are activities. There are also lesson plans, again, aligned to Georgia standards. And when I say lots of great videos and tours, I mean, even if you clicked on one of these thumbnails, once you get there, there are also kind of mini videos within that to show you the different areas or go deeper into the different parts of the whole tour. So that's a really great resource. Dana's dropped the link in the chat. Definitely copy that, bookmark it. That's a good resource. And Let's Learn Georgia. So again, one of the big things that we do in DML is support the work that goes on to the Georgia Home Classroom. So there are Let's Learn Georgia videos, and of those videos, there are some model lessons that are virtual field trips. For example, the Let's Learn Georgia Rock Quarry. It's led by, I want to say, the foreman of the quarry, who explains the tools and the different terminology, and they go over the different types of rocks. So that's a really cool virtual field trip. The Jimmy Carter Center, the different regions of Georgia. So these model lessons also serve as a virtual field trip because everyone can't get out and go to the rock quarry, and everyone can't get out and get to Jimmy Carter's home. So just another good tool and resource to meet the standards, give the students an experience and expose them to things that perhaps, we might not be able to with, or not with, but in your classroom, self-paced. The other resource that I wanted to share is the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. So when you go there, they are definitely like, hey, sign up for a field trip. But what they have are self-guided learning tours. So they're just little bite-sized videos similar to what I mentioned on GPB, how there's little, snippets of videos. They also will do a quick little 5 minutes or less to explain the site or give you some information. They also have additional activities. It's not as robust as some of the other resources, but there are activities that tie in with the tour. And again, they're aligned to the standards. And they're brief enough for you to preview before you get going and come up with your own questions and activities to, again, tailor it to your students and make it what you want and what you need. All righty, Dana's going to go over Flip.
I was going to come in on this part, and I'm going to take you to some of those websites that we can look at together because I wanted to do it in relation to Flip because Olo has presented some fabulous virtual field trip options for your students and for your teachers. But as we know, you have to engage those students. And one of the cool ways to do that is using Flip. Flip is formally, and I'm just going to move on to this one, formerly known as Flipgrid. Now it's called Microsoft Flip. It is a free platform if you've never used it before. But what's really good that Microsoft bought it, you know that there are privacy policies that are built into it because it is Microsoft, and you can safely use it with your students. Flip likes most browsers except for Safari, which, as we know, is a Mac product. We're not surprised. Flip does really love Chrome, and it does well in Edge. So, and then just in case you haven't been to Flip in quite a while, they do have some new features, and I thought I would show you that as well as we talk a little bit more about all these field trip opportunities. So I'm going to share my screen, my computer screen. Well, I'm sharing my computer screen, aren't I? I mean, my browser. And this is what Flip looks like when you create a topic. And we already have a topic just for Georgia Home Classroom and for creating field trips. So the one that Olu was talking about life on a Carter farm, this is one that's based off of our Georgia Home Classroom Let's Learn Georgia videos. And if you've never used Flip with your students, what's really cool is you can have them say, go to this website and I want you to do an activity, and then they create a video of it. And as we all know, kids these days love making videos of themselves. This is one that they will put on the Flip. So here's one that I just did, just kind of give you an idea what it sort of looks like. Not sure if the sound is sharing on my computer. So if you don't see or hear the sound, just let me know. I did see a hand come up. Olu, did you see the hand get raised?
Yes, that was my hand.
Oh, sorry.
I just wanted to know if we can get like a thumbs up or a clap if you have used Flip or you often use it. If you're like, yes, I know the students love it, we do a little heart just to kind of gauge where we are with Flip.
And then before I play one of my silly little videos that I made, just so you kind of get an idea what it looks like, I'll take you to the Georgia Home Classroom real quick and show you that in person while maybe a few of you drop in whether or not you use Flip. But this is the Let's Learn Georgia videos. This is a way that you can create virtual field trip just with videos. And then I'm going to show you the field trips that they do on GPB, which are pretty doggone amazing. But so you could choose just about any topic. And I think this is a really good idea. So let's say if you have to have a sub come into your room, this is an assignment that you could assign to your students and say, you're going to follow up with Flipgrid, and then you can make sure that they did what they needed to. And yes, I've heard of Flipgrid being used with kids as young as first grade and on down, but they will need lots of help. And that would be the only thing. If you were going to do this with a substitute with younger grades, you would have had to establish the routines for Flipgrid with your students ahead of time. But this is the social studies one, and Olu was talking about that, where you can see we have so many videos there. Right now, we go through 5th grade. We are working on more content to go into here through middle school, and hopefully get some high school content in there as well too. But that is just what these are for. And so I said, take a step back in time. This is a link to the Jimmy Carter National Historical Park in Plains, Georgia. In this episode, students will learn about Jimmy Carter's chores on his farm in the 1930s. I'll also see how several machines were used during your visit. And I always give students prompts within Flipgrid, what you want them to do. So for this one, I said, record a video of your drawings based off of it, something that interests you, at least 3 different things. And so this was my my fun one that I made. So
here's what I found kind of interesting on the Carter family farm. Sugarcane. They grew sugarcane there. And what was really cool was it would last for 10 years or a decade in the same spot. It's pretty cool about sugarcane.
And as silly as that is, that would be as simple as it is for the kids. Now you notice obviously that it reversed, but I love how Flip is just really kind of pulls kids in by something that interests them. And we know that's video. So that was how to use Let's Learn Georgia, but I want to take you to GPB virtual field trips because their site is so robust. If you've never been to that, and Olu was talking about, she did a great job overviewing that with you, but this is just some of the different ones that you can take virtually. I'm going to click here on Cherokee Nation. They have a learning journey. So learning journey, it's kind of like a digital portfolio as you go, and you click on different things, and it's all hyperlinked and very interactive for students. So this is just really an interesting way to get them involved in finding out about things that happen in our state when we can't afford the funds for a field trip, for example. So, and then I'll go back to Cherokee Nation because there were so many on there. They have a walking tour. Yes. And the lesson plan.
The lesson plan.
You're right. Let's do that. I think it's in support materials, correct? It takes you to all of them.
Yeah.
No, scroll. There's all these fabulous videos produced by GPB. I'll just keep going. I'll build it. Build it up a sweat.
Might even be on the first. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Okay. So learn more. Okay. Learning objectives.
It must be at the top, but
okay. Sorry. They do have these lesson plans. I'm sorry. Do you see? Yeah, I hit support materials. Okay. But they have just some amazing things, even a 360 version, so you can get some virtual reality if you have those classes. So I went into Flip and I made a Cherokee Nation virtual field trip. And I'm going to show you how it's so easy just to record the screen, which is kind of cool thing that you can do through Flipgrid. So if I wanted to record and I told my students that I want them to go to a learning journey and find the Indian Territory map of 1870 and include it in your map, I can go record. And hopefully it's going to allow me. And up here, I'm going to say record screen. Select a screen to record, and I will do the learning journey here. And I said I needed to go to the map, right? And right now it is already recording for me, everything that is on my screen. And I wanted to go to the map of the territory of 1787 and include this in. And the kids could talk about this as they are doing the response to your Flipgrid prompt. So this is just another interactive way to get the kids engaged in doing this through Flipgrid. So I'm going to stop sharing. And there it is. I needed to go to the map, right? And then I'm just going to post my topic for now, but that one will stay in there. And this is a great way for teachers to be able to see that the kids are getting engaged and to use media that the kids love. So I'm going to also show this website. And this is the eRanger self-guided one. Olu, did you want to talk about that? And I'll just scroll up while we're on this one.
Yes, so like I mentioned, they're just little bite-sized videos. So if you stop and just, click on can I outrun a bear? Because that is a wonderful question. You'll see that there are little videos within the drop downs. And so we are at this park, Providence Canyon, and we're going to talk about the bears, or we're going to talk about the owls, right? So the thing that I do like about it is because they are so small, you can watch it and then you can decide how you want to facilitate the conversation or guide the conversation. Because if you scroll down one more time, please, they do have activities. I see some word searches, some scavenger hunts, but it's, again, just not as robust, as I mentioned, as the other resources. So these are kind of, cute, but you might say, I want you to go a little deeper, right? So they're small enough to preview and even kind of create a little playlist, right? You want to talk about the fish, the bear, and the tortoise, and kind of build your lesson around that.
Oh, and you could do that in Flip.
Yeah.
The other thing that I know that we noticed when we were trying to find these at the Department of Natural Resources, it took us a little digging to find the eRangers. So we are going to share this with you at the end, so you'll have access to these links, because if you wanted to use that later on, it is a little bit more difficult to find. I'm going to show you, this is one of my favorites. As an art teacher, I used to love going to the Google Arts and Cultural site. And this one has just so many amazing things. I don't know if any of you have ever been there just to explore. They have games. It's not just about artwork. There's historical figures that you can look at, historical events, time and color. It's a global cultural art field trip that you can take. With my high school students, I had them go on a day that I was out. I had them go to a museum in Japan to find out about Hokusai's wave. And it's actually a 365 of the gallery that it's in. And I said, find it and take a picture, because I knew they would have to do the 360 degrees and go through it and see the other artworks that are in there. It's just some really amazing things that you can do just on Google Arts and Culture. And the experiments and the games, they're just really fun, but they're very educational, engaging for the students. And then I'll open up this last one. Olu, I know this one is one you probably would like to talk about.
Well, let's click on that. It's got a lot of cool science leaks, and I can't speak to every single one, but it was so many things that it's like, oh, let's play around in here, right? So if I am trying to do a STEM lesson or just wanting to do have a cool thing to go along with a science activity or our science standards, it's a good place to go. Now, let's see. I believe it's the resources. Yeah. There we go. So you see virtual field trips. But it really, you don't have to just limit it to virtual field trips, but
it's a great site if you haven't seen them. Yes.
Yeah, well, and I taught lower grades. Everyone loves the zoo cam. Everyone loves to watch the pandas. So there'll be a lot of that, but they thoroughly enjoy it. But yeah, definitely check out those resources.
I'm gonna bring it back to our video, or in our PowerPoint. Give me just a second.
Well, while she's doing that, because we have a cozy group, I am going to allow everyone's mic so that if you have a question, we can get into it.
And I'm posting the link to our virtual field trips that we came up with so that it has the link to Flip for us. If you wanted to join us on Flip, we've already created a few virtual field trip Flip topics that could easily be copied and shared if you don't want to make things even easier. And then these are all of the links that we just took you to today. And I did just drop that into the chat to make that available to you.
And I allow the mics. If for whatever reason you can't unmute, but you have a question, please just drop it in the chat. But I did click allow mic, so you should be able to unmute yourself and say hi or ask a question.
And once again, this is how you can get a hold of us. Godot.dml@doe.k12.ga.us is a great way to reach all three of us. Our program manager is Megan Welch. And I'm Dana Munson.
And again, I'm Oli Ramey. And if you know of anyone that was like, I missed it, this will be recorded. They can jump back on Community and catch this webinar. And if you haven't joined us on Community, please do that as well.
We're at DML, so Digital Media Literacy.
Forgot that part, yeah.
And we made it brief because we know it's like the end of the school year, and we appreciate you coming because I know how exhausted everybody is at the end of the school year. So, and this past weekend was a full moon, so I can only imagine how
And
tired you must be.
Mother's Day is this weekend, so we will definitely wrap it up and send you with the gift of time for this Teacher Appreciation Week. And again, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat or you can email us.
I'll stop the recording.
All right, sounds good.